What's up everybody, back with some more PTR raid testing, and today we're taking a look at Mythic Guardian, of the first ones in the new raid Sanctum of Domination. Keep in mind this is not a guide on how to do the fight, and I will mostly focus on the Mythic part of the encounter. What's new on Mythic, how and if it changes the overall approach to the fight, and my thoughts on the overall encounter. And if you want to see more of the mechanics, you can check out my heroic video of this fight. So what's new on Mythic for Sludge Fist 2.0? Well, apart from everything being tuned up, way up, his course now starts with 0 energy, and it's up to you to charge him, so that the boss can drain him during its purging protocol. So how does this work? Well, the threat neutralization, which targets 3 random non-tank player, now charges the course if you hit them with it. Each hit will give 5 energy for a total of 15 per threat neutralization cast. So throughout the fight you'll have players targeted by this, and they'll need to sprint to a core and make sure it's within their circle without of course hitting each other with the neutralization. Now to go with this, Guardian also casts neutralization a lot more frequently to allow you to stack up more energy before he starts its purging protocol. From pull to first purge you get 3 casts of it for a total of 45 energy, and a 4th cast during it to add 15 more. So play it perfectly and you end up at the same energy gain / drain as on heroic, which is 60 per core. Now to complicate things a bit, due to spell queuing, it seemed like you could intentionally go for lower amounts of energy on cores to force the boss to cast purging protocol at the same time as his 3 tank smack, which interrupts it during it, giving you like 8 extra seconds before he actually starts casting the purging protocol, which is worth a hell of a lot more time wise than 10 extra energy on the first core. And keep in mind, you don't have to waste that energy, as you can just funnel it into another core. Granted, that also depends on how the next one will line up following the second core, and we really didn't get that far enough to test that on every core, sadly. So unless this gets fixed, there's potentially some shenanigans you could do with the amount of energy you give to each set of cores in order to time the tank smacks with purging protocol, and potentially other abilities as well to further increase the time. And if tuning stays as it is, you will need every single second you can get. Boss do have a lot of health. Now on the topic of the tank smack, although not a Mythic mechanic, but they've changed the tank mechanic for this fight, thankfully. Previous it was a 2-part attack, one tank takes one smack, other tank takes next. Whoop. Now it's a 3-part attack, where the first attack is Sunder, 60k fist damage, 6 yards around targeted tank, and 100% increased physical damage taken for 1.3 minutes or something like that. Next one is Obliterate, which deals around 60k fist damage to the tank, but also 160k arcane damage split between players within 6 yards of the tank, and a debuff that increases Obliterate's damage by 500%, which also lasts for 1.3 minutes. And the final smash that deals around 80k damage 6 yards around the targeted tank. So you'll now have one tank take first smack, other tank plus like half the raid in Obliterate, and then the same tank alone for the last smash. So it's a bit more engaging and keeps you and the raid on your toes instead of just taunt. All in all, it's a decent patchwork fight, a lot going on but nothing overly complex, just a lot of positioning requirements, especially for the threat neutralizations, making sure that all 3 hits the core without killing each other, and even more so when you have to do it during a purging protocol, as you'll have the entire raid inside the core's safe zone. There is enough space, but just barely. Will be interesting to see how the tuning ends up and the core mechanics of the fight, if they'll keep the spell queuing part or not, or if they just want you to always get all of them on the same core until a meltdown. I personally would have liked another Sludge Fist mechanic added to this fight, a damage increase while boss is linked to a core, because then you could have played around even more with core energy to ensure you get a really long core link in the end, and stack cooldowns and bloodlust for that, giving it a proper burn phase as well. Unsure how good that would actually be, but sounds fun in my head. But then people would probably complain that it's too much Sludge Fish-esque. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this fight on Mythic. You just have to hit the course with the neutralization so you can stop the purging protocol and do a lot of damage. But it seems like it's a proper DPS and healing check. We'll cover all bosses on PTR, and proper guides will be out once the raid is released. And I'm streaming all of the raid testing on PTR, so don't forget to check that out whenever there's raid testing announced. Otherwise, I'm streaming all of our main progression once it's live on Mondays and Tuesdays. And if you have any questions questions at all about this encounter, hit me up in the comments or become a patron and get access to the Stankie Discord where you can get help with anything raiding related. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.